Before we start, I'd like to say, there was this friend who once told me that there is a running joke in his family, which was like Kataria women are the happiest when you call them thin. Even in social circles, statements like, oh, you've lost weight, oh, you've gained weight. I think these are uttered even before you exchange your formal hellos. So here we are. This panel is to basically talk about why there is so much more to health than that absurd theory of looking thin. And I have some two really powerful women here who are redefining fitness for you. So a big round of applause for them.
Thank you.
I'd like to start with you, Nyrraa. I understand that you're a defense kid. So was fitness instilled in you like discipline while you were growing up?
Sure. Hello, everybody, firstly, and thank you for having me here. As a defense kid, I have seen a lot of discipline in my house because my dad used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, make his own tea, have his own space, not speak to anybody at all. And then by 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, start with his calls. Before that, go for a run downstairs, So what he used to actually do is wake up at 4, sit quietly, sync his mind and his body through meditation, just breath work, then start reading news, then go for a run, which is activating his body. Before that, activating his brains, his knowledge, his mind. Then speak to the world and go to office. So I have seen this pattern, and it has really helped because it's very important to first sync your mind and body so that you're ready for the day. And throughout the day, you will end up being very fresh. So I have imbibed that quality in me.
You were also on Khatro Ke Khiladi, which also requires a lot of physical strength.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that journey.
So, see, Khatro was not only about physical strength because, the physical strength is about lifting something or running, the stamina, but Khatro also dealt with a lot of fears of the unknown. It can be unknown fear, it can be height, it can be water, and I had all sorts of phobia. I had water phobia, I had height phobia. So it was a lot to do with mind and trust in the makers. Trust in yourself that nothing's going to happen to you and just go for it because this is a one-time opportunity and you're getting very well paid for it. You might as well experience all of it and you're the lucky one. People are watching you do that. Fitness, what in totality I would like to say is it's not just the physical fitness because see, I'll give you an example. I have an acne, right? I am putting a cream for the acne superficially. It might dry up the skin from the outside and the dead skin falls off. But it keeps reoccurring. Why? Because your hormones are not balanced. Your gut is not clean. You are stressed out because of which your body is not relaxed. There are a lot of factors. So it always works externally and internally. So fitness का तो मैं यही बोलूँगी कि it's not only building muscles. बहुत सारी चीज़ें आपको factors ध्यान में रखनी पड़ती है.
I'll quickly move to Alankrita. Alankrita, I remember in 2021, you happened to injure yourself while shooting for an action sequence. And when you recovered, you actually started training harder. So is fitness a second nature to you, or is that something that you kind of picked up when you were part of that beauty pageant?
Thank you for your question. Very good evening to all of you now. For me, fitness is your cerebral, your physical, your emotional and mental balance put together. When I was injured, the first instinct of your body is you are in shock. There's adrenaline. A lot of hormonal and mental factors take place then. So I did continue shooting immediately after I was injured. I still have my ankles swollen. Because your mind at that moment is not thinking of anything but a solution or a problem to fix. Yeah. I found a solution that if I continue shooting now, I'd be able to wrap up the schedule because that was the last day of my schedule. And I shot from like the hilltop and I had to run all the way down with a broken ankle and a ligament tear. I did that, but that comes from, okay, sometimes people say it's stupid, but that moment my body did not respond to the pain. It was only once I stopped shooting and my ankle was so swollen that it knew that I was injured and hurt. But I did my task. Resilience, determination, And the fact of completing a task that I have started is what drives me. And it's not just because of a pageant, it's inculcated by my father and my mother. Because I think for children, your examples are first set by your household, then it's your teachers, then your colleagues, and the people you are working with in a hierarchy. My parents are a very good example. My mom's a badminton champion at national level, and she's a woman who's 60 and has never not walked a single day in her life. Whether it's raining, even in Mumbai, she's wearing a raincoat and she's walking. So that's instilled a lot of discipline in me that no matter what, you show up for yourself. You show up for your body, you show up for your mind, you show up for the people around you who you've committed to. And regardless of rain, hail, or a colossal loss in your life, it's important that your word is your goodwill, right? So I stand by that. So whether it's pageant that's training you differently, whether it's you're in a corporate space with a mindset that, you're working in hierarchy, how to work in tandem with the people, everything is resolving to how you're feeling about yourself. And ITC is not just about feeling good, it's about being healthy. And I think a healthy mind leads to a healthy body. That's what's important for me, and that's what I always tell women, 30, 40, 50, that, we are filled with guilt. Married women especially have a lot of guilt. How will I manage my children, my husband, my household, and my work? Hence, the shift has to happen, that we overcome the guilt and fear of missing out on our home, on our husband, and our work, because we have to balance everything. Right? So that guilt is something that women need to overcome, and community building for women to work out to not feel that guilt is very important. So that's what I feel is the answer to your first question, and I give it back to you.
I'll want to come back to the guilt part a little later. Before that, let me bring in Nyrraa. Nyrraa, unlike the Western countries, a lot of them, in India, I think fitness is not something which is an intrinsic part of our growing up. It's not given as much value as good eating. Like, we say, hum khate peete ghar ke hain, but it's never told to us that, from a young age, you have to maintain the kind of lifestyle which will affect you in future as well, which will benefit you basically. So do you think Indian women basically wake up to this fitness journey rather late in their life?
See, they probably realize that I have to be fit when they actually start giving up on life. Why to wait to give up on life? Why do you have to stretch yourself so much that you suddenly feel that, oh, I'm not valid anymore, or I don't have the energy anymore? Why? See, it's very simple. Women have to be physically strong because there's a lot of work to do, mentally clear of what you want to do, hormonally balanced so that your cortisols and everything don't spike up, and emotionally grounded. Because there are lots of ups and downs. You have children, you have husband, you have work. We are not just daughters and mothers and sisters and girlfriends and wives. We are creators, we are bureaucrats, we are politicians, we are so many more. So there's lots to do at home and at outside. So I think, understanding that when you are fine, when you are strong, when you are valid, you can do a lot more. And लड़की पतली है तो हेल्दी नहीं है, लड़की हेल्दी है तो मोटी है, ये सब कहाँ से आता है? ये सब I think इतना judgment करना सही नहीं है. I don't think it's right to judge. And women also have this issue. Before they can even take the step towards fitness, they start feeling that they are not good enough. They start assuming that it's not going to work out for me, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the patience, or people will judge me that, oh, I'm taking care of myself. We are used to seeing women, most of the women, up until my previous generation, oh, they are supposed to be housewives. So एक हाउसवाइफ का इमेज होता है कि साड़ी पहन के रोज़ सुबह चाय बना के खाना पीना पूरा दिन, होल डे शी इज़ ओनली कुकिंग, मेकिंग टी एंड सर्विंग एवरीबॉडी, एंड जस्ट बिकॉज शी इज़ टेकिंग केयर ऑफ हर सेल्फ, it becomes a problem. Why? The family members should tell them that, bro, you relax. Let the maids do. You chill so that you're also happily enjoying your space, your family life, your festives and everything. So I don't think, I really think that we should change this perspective. The guilt and the patli and the moti and everything, it's all bullshit. we should take care of ourselves.
Alankrita, you want to add to that? I, can
I
see.
agree to disagree with your question because I believe there's been a major gap in understanding the fact that your question was about women have always had this thing about health and fitness recently, and it's not been there. If you see PT Usha from back in the day, our athletes, you see our wrestlers, you see our badminton champions, you see a lot of women who've been in the sports fraternity are not from this generation who are champions. They're championing since our parents' generation. During the caveman time, there were women who were also hunting with the men. One. There's been a point, even after that, during my grandparents' age, or during the freedom fighters, we had Rani Lakshmi Bai. We have a lot of examples of women from throughout the generations who have had the courage, capacity to break through these norms. That percentage is small, but I don't think that it did not exist because the awareness, the idea of cultivating that for women was not given much priority because our generation and timeline in India was dealing with a very different set of factors after freedom. The generic norm of health and fitness has been placed in now because the efficacy of health for the entire generation has changed because of adulteration of food, the different factors of pollution. During our time, you know, the akhada players, the wrestlers, there was all sorts of fitness for women back in the day. The gym machines were there for everybody. You would see there was a percentage of women back then also working out. Yes, I agree that the dominance of the predominance of women existing in the social sphere of being fit did not exist as it does now. Because times have changed and women have come out of their shell because men also support their women today. Men did support their women back in the day. The education, the level of freedom, the level of awareness has made them become a team. Yes, there are a lot of men who I would say when we talk about toxic masculinity do exist. But they're all over the world. It's not just my country. But I also believe that because women and men work in tandem when it comes to fighting for our rights. You know, back in the day, we had suffragettes who stood up for us to vote, right? That's the first incidence of women taking shape and form of being in the forefront. Like women today are in the forefront of health and wellness. Because health and wellness is not just about creating babies and having healthy children. It's much more than that because generation has changed. हम अपने पीढ़ियों से mothers and हमारे grandmothers से जो औरतें सुनती आई हैं, समझती आई, उन्होंने वही करा है. And so did the sons, right? So the beginning is your household. So the narrative has changed. Hence, the amount of women and men in collaboration for these things have changed. So the chromosomes are always X and Y. It's not just XX or YY. And that's why women have emerged because they're breaking barriers and norms because it's not just for me, health is me looking fit, which is thin, or me being fat, which is healthy. Those norms come from regressive societies which have existed. And they still continue to. A lot of girls from very good families or from extremely three-tier system families have Kali, Gori, Moti, Patli. But that has nothing to do with health. That's generic norms or redefining women about how you look physically as a structure. The internal structure of your body is very different than your external structure. There is visceral fat, which could also be with people who are thin, right? So that's more dangerous than a person who has flabby, fatty arms. So the idea of health is becoming more scientific now, hence the reform, the change is taking place. But I feel that, you know, regression only changes with education. And hence progression takes place. So I don't agree कि उस ज़माने में नहीं था, उस ज़माने में भी औरतें थीं और उनके partners थे, उनके parents थे जो supportive थे, इसलिए हम आज यहाँ बैठ के ये बात कर सकते हैं. Because there have been people who have supported that small sect which is now expanding. And that expansion comes when women and men work in tandem. So it's never a sole journey. Yes, the suffragettes were just women doing it for us. But today I think everybody who's sitting in this room has collectively worked towards bringing forth this particular innovation idea. ITC is doing a major shift, you know. So I think we have to celebrate everybody in this room who's come together for us to be able to speak about this topic. So it's a big shift. Thank you.
You know, I remember another tiny segment, I think, which I want to talk about is, I remember speaking to Masaba Gupta, and according to me, I think she has one of the most badass mothers in the history of Bollywood, I think. You know,
I
and
love
most
her mom.
fittest. And she confided that, after she delivered her baby, she was going through mom guilt, which kind of stopped her from taking care of herself. She didn't want to hit the gym because she thought every waking hour should be dedicated to her child. So do you think that's a absolute prevalent problem with the pregnant women who are trying to maybe not just shed that extra kg, but also trying to come back with their former confidence?
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Again, since we speak of guilt, everybody in this room is guilty of something that they do and they don't do. Guilt is a predominant factor of being human. If somebody probably, let's think about, eats too much, drinks too much, the next day they'll be like, "Hi, maine kyun kiya? What am I going to do next about this particular situation?" So guilt is predominant being human. You cannot remove guilt from being human. It's inherent. But there are ways to work through that guilt. There are ways of supportive partners, communities, mothers, friends who don't say, "Oh, you left your child alone at home and you are here sitting." Friends like that also exist. You'll have your relatives also who will be like, "Acha, you're going back to work so fast?" They'll talk about breastfeeding in a way as if it's their particular bosom they're speaking about. So I believe that, the way we look at women is not that we are milking cows. We're not a generation today that cannot handle and multitask. Women's brains are in such a way that we can multitask with different boxes. Men think differently cerebrally. So when people speak about women, feeling the guilt after a baby, first we have to shed the weight. We want to go back to how we used to look, and there's nothing wrong in that. We need people who support us in that. Second, I have my friend who's just had a baby, okay? She's not stepped out for a single get-together and gathering and not left her kid there, even though her mother is there to help and support her, because she feels the guilt, what if I leave my baby and come out to see you for 2 hours and my baby does this, or I miss out my baby on something that she says and speaks and walks. I get that. You don't want to miss your baby's first steps and mama or papa. You want it to be mama. But the point is, that guilt comes because we feel bad for having fun. We all feel bad for doing something for ourselves because we know we will get guilty. कोई ना कोई comment या ताना कहीं ना कहीं से तो आएगा. उनके अपने लिए कुछ कर रहे हैं, not keeping in mind the other person for a change. And there's nothing wrong to be selfish. Why? If you're sitting in an aircraft, the first thing the air hostess tells you is, please put the mask on yourself and then the infant or the passenger next to you, which means self-preservation and self-care before you can help someone else. Same way for a child. If you're not happy, if you're not blossoming, and when you're pregnant and if your energies are different, the child who's going to come out, their energies will reflect the energies that you had when you were pregnant. What you're listening, what you're reading, what you're playing. The child is in tune and sync with you when it's in the womb. So when the child comes out after 9 months or whatever months, could be sometimes, 8 months also, it's a reflection of your energy. So if you, after being pregnant and delivering, do not have that same energy of care for yourself, your child will take on that energy as well when it's growing up. You don't want to be frustrated and angry and upset and resent yourself, because that energy comes on your child when it's growing up. So that shift comes with the mental, emotional support of your partner. You want to be pampered and look, the first thing people say is internal beauty. Yes, internal beauty is very important. But I feel when you're pregnant and you are not looking at yourself the way you were, so it starts with physically also feeling good about yourself, which is an internal shift you make. Sometimes I look at myself and I'm not feeling good in the day. I'm like, oh my God, I am feeling to the dumps. But I look at myself and I'm like, okay, maybe a good facial and a haircut might make me feel good. So you go for that, do it. And sometimes that also changes the game for you and you internally feel good about yourself. So it works both ways. I cannot say just the internal factor plays a major role. Yes, looking good and being fit also plays a major role physically. So they go again, hand in glove. So women, after birthing or during their pregnancy, need to have a good support system, because postpartum pregnancy के बाद जो आपका mindset है, जो depression होता है, वो बहुत severe है. तो when people say उसको mood swing हो रहा है, ये पागल है, those words are just awful and obnoxious to use on someone. That also affects your mental well-being. So if I'm not mentally doing okay, I cannot be physically doing well as well. So I feel they don't have to feel guilty, and this guilt has to first stop coming from their mothers and their mother-in-laws. So, and then their husbands also then take the lead. Okay, you know what, enough. My wife's got to do well for herself. Let's focus on that. Ki, hi, beta ne ye nahi kiya, hi, usne chai nahi pilai, hi, usne ye kar diya, ye peh. We have to stop those narratives. That we can grow and build together for our kids to be more happier.
True.
Yeah.
But now you spoke about something like multitasking. Now, has there been an instance in both your lives where maybe work or family took precedence and you kind of avoided your health and regretted it later?
Yes. I was working when I lost my father. I was in Goa for a shoot and I was reaching Chandigarh. My father was on vacation with my mother and I lost him. That was a horrible moment, because you don't know that you're going to lose your father, but you're working. And I quit my work for 3 years in guilt.
That I couldn't spend the time with my
Yeah.
dad at that time. Similar experience.
That guilt was awful. I still cry about it, like I am right now, sorry. But it took me 3 years to come back to Bombay, where I started my journey with him, and to build myself again, because he would be rolling in his grave right now if I was not here speaking to you guys. Why is she wasting her time? He was a go-getter, So that guilt, that work took precedence, and I couldn't be there for my dad, because you never know sometimes in these situations that, your dad's going to pass away, So that shift did not happen for me in that moment. But I still showed up for all my commitments that I had, because I would always think about one thing, that if I didn't do it, what would my father think of me? Because he was always pushing me to do my best, to be my best. So of course, the personal life, people think, takes a backseat when you're working. It does. On a lot of days it does for us, because that's the way life functions. You can't always be present for everybody at each moment. There are days when work takes precedence and then your private life takes precedence. But the work-life balance only happens when you have discipline of time. You cannot be waking up late and then thinking, अच्छा मैं काम भी कर लूँगी, मेरा boyfriend के साथ भी घूम लूँगी, मैं बच्चों को भी. That discipline is with time. And there are days where you're burnt out, there are days where you need rest. So when somebody says, I can balance it really well, that is only if you are mentally prepared to balance it. It cannot be physically every day the same, because women have hormonal cycles. So we are different on different days. So you have to understand that when, women are going through that. So understanding those cycles will make you understand a woman's lunar cycle better. But yes, I think it's okay that your work takes precedence some days, your family takes precedence some days, your partners take precedence some days, because it's not an equal journey every day. And you don't have to feel guilty for taking a break. You don't have to be guilty for overworking at times, because that's life, and you have to have each day be different. Like your heartbeat is, the flat line is only once you're gone. So it has to be in those wavelengths to enjoy it. The synchronicity is what makes it happening.
Super. Nyrraa.
I think I had a similar experience where I was shooting in London and I lost my dad, and I had the same guilt that I wasn't there, when my dad passed away in Mumbai, and I only saw his body. But let's come to the guilt part when you're handling work, family, business, acting all together. I think the awareness that somehow you have to create a balance between working and taking care of yourself is very important. See, as an actor, when I'm working in a TV show, it goes up to 15 hours. Then suddenly I realize that I'm not eating on time, I'm not drinking enough water, I'm not getting the right amount of sleep. Now what do? I find breaks. I find breaks to snack up on something important, something healthy. I take quick naps. I make sure before I head for my shoot, I at least take a 10 minutes run niche. I go for a brisk walk for at least 10-15 minutes. You have to find time. You have to find the balance that, okay, fine, you have the small break, just breathe, relax, feel good about yourself, regain your energy, think about all the good moments in the day, all the good things that you did in the day, all the good things you're going to do in the day. Look forward to it. Rewire your brain again and again that, okay, no, I have these goals to do. Evening, I'm going to meet my parents, I'm going to meet my friends, I'm going to do this, I'm having a great day at work. Trick your brain again and again and again and find that balance to keep yourself healthy.
I agree with her completely. I think being grateful for the life you have, because a lot of us don't have that kind of fortune of being placed in such a way that we can speak about these things or, come out of the doomsday with flying colors. I think gratitude and planning a day is very important, and making time to work out is a must, even if it's 15-20 minutes of high intensity, or you're just walking or swimming really helps, or yoga, practicing mindfulness really does help you in balancing. Trust me, it works for women in wonders. I think the men should try it too. And Pilates as well, it really helps in flexibility.
Even the
also like to
laughter
give
therapy.
Yeah,
The laughter therapy.
absolutely.
If you're not able to do your squats, if you're not able to do your meditation, just laugh randomly, crazily, spookily. Just laugh. It energizes you.
Spookily, yeah. Happy
instantly.
Halloween, guys.
Just trick yourself.
Fantastic. On those tips, I think we'll end the session. I think we've moved on from that whole appearance debate when it comes to health to whole well-being and actual strength and fitness.
Yeah, because women decline muscle after 40 to a vast percentage. So muscle mass, bone density, minerals, and the whole system of having the right kind of nutritious, dense food is really important after you're 40. Because I feel that, even if you're 30 or you're 40 or 50, the amount of loss that starts taking place is immense, from your hair follicles to everything else. But I believe the right nutrition, the right mindset, the right frame of people in the ecosystem that you belong to varies, and inexplicably you have to have good food and good sleep to make sure that you're paving your path towards this. I saw this really fit lady outside who we met. I have to tell you, she has the most chiseled arms I've seen at that age, and I told her she is a motivation for me. And I feel that such women and men are out there, like Milan Suman, Gina Maluni, a lot of people who have been a jury, that I think your health is your wealth. जान है तो जहाँ है. तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप सब 20-15 मिनट निकालें अपनी ज़िंदगी के, अपने वाइफ के साथ वॉक पे चले, चलो आज भागते हैं, चोर पुलिस खेलो यार. Do something that motivates you, and really your pheromones, your hormones, men don't have too many hormones like women do. You're lucky, very, very lucky. But I think that support is very important in this ecosystem, and thank you for supporting, and continue doing that. Make your sons better boys for the girls coming up, and I'm sure that we can make this world a better place by being fit, whether you're 30, you're 40, or whatever your age might be. I think it's important that discipline and happiness goes hand in glove.
So let's put our health first. Everything else is going to fall right in place. Thank you so much,
Thank you
ladies.
so much. Thank you, guys.
It was
Have a
fabulous
wonderful
session,
evening.
and I got some tips for myself. So thank you.
Thank you so
One
much.
last thing I wanted to add is no matter how much weight training or jogging or cycling or exercise you do, or no matter how much diet you do, first thing you should always ask yourself, how are you feeling? Because that is when you understand what is going wrong. Apart from your diet, it's not the portion, it's not what you're eating, but it's about how nutritious your food is and how light you feel. Eat to just kill your hunger, not to fill your stomach, Always ask yourself, how are you feeling today? And then make the changes you need to.
Nari Shakti, Zindabad. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
He
much.
has a question, I guess.
Thank
you
you
have a
so
question?
much. I'm really sorry we don't have time because we are running very late, sir.
It's
Just
okay, one question.
please.
One question.
Yeah.
Just one.
Let them ask, even though we have
But
2 minutes
we're
will take
running
us.
very late, unfortunately, 45 minutes.
Even
so
for us, you were
that's,
running very late and made us wait.
So we keep on hearing this whole thing, and I think there's a lot of discussion right now. Women think multi-dimensional.
Can you be a little closer? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I always make this mistake. I've been hearing this very often throughout the day also, and now you've been talking about it. Everybody says women think multi-dimensional. And that's why they multitask better. And while men can either chew gum or possibly think at the same time. So they can't do two together, right? Now, is it really some science behind it? Or do you think it's good women PR kind?
I'm sorry, the good what? The good?
Good PR from women.
I want to answer this. See, even men can multitask. I have known many men who had 3-4 girlfriends at a time. So it is very easy to multitask. Whereas women at home, they handle children, they handle kitchen, they handle job. It's about practice. It's about focus, nothing else. Both of them can multitask. But if you focus at one thing at a time, it's a great thing to do. You excel in that.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
please.
take this as the last question.
Yes, so the question is basically it's for both. Who are your role model and what inspires you most?
A little louder, please.
So who are your role model
Okay.
and what inspires you both?
Yes, I'll answer this. Well, you see, we have plenty of role models for different things in our lives. I would not answer this very politically, but of course, my first person at home is my mother. She is, to be in as clear as possible, a boss lady in all her fields. And I don't know how she's done it, but excellence to another level. Then is Oprah Winfrey, Meryl Streep, and Rekha Ji in my industry. I would like to say, because you see, a role model is somebody who inspires you to do better, be better, and also self-serve. I believe service above self is also very important. So if I am at a position where I'm only thinking about myself and my glory and my success and my money, and I'm not able to use this platform to help, to serve, like as an artist, I'm of the people, by the people, and for the people, like the government is. So I believe that a role model should be anyone in your life who can help you inspire to be a better person, more motivated, more disciplined. It could be a man as well. I have a lot of men in my life who also are my role models, because it's not just about women and men and the difference between us. It's about how we work in tandem with each other to be better at what we do. And that's all we expect the men to be our support system, to push us forward, stand up for us when you know someone else is not letting us be our best self. That's the position, and there are a lot of men out there who are doing so well. And I feel like Akshay Kumar sir's discipline is what I think is to die for. As an artist is what I'm trying to tell you. But there are so many people. My father, when it comes to waking up at 5 a.m., was sab karte the. And he was a person who was not only great in his respective work, as a husband, as a partner, as a daddy, as a friend. I've seen that beautiful man multitask and finish any task that he started. So I got that thing from him. And every other man and woman that I've met so far have contributed in my journey to move ahead. So I don't take it away from the men and women who I meet, who I greet, who I speak to, who have helped me shape who I am today. So thank you. All right, thank you guys.
I think Nyrraa wanted to answer. The question was for Nyrraa as well.
Okay, sure. See, she's said the most of it, what I believe as well. But who is a role model? A role model who is extremely ambitious for self. A role model who manages the family, the society well, the partnership, the marriage. I think any person who excels in all these fields, keeps a balance, should be a role model. That role model can be found in your own family. Okay, so your family mate, it is your parents, it could be your best friend who's managing their life and their work so well. In my profession, apart from my mom, I really like Priyanka Chopra. I think she's created a legacy for herself. She has immense belief in herself. She's confident. She knows where she wants to reach. At the same time, she has managed her marriage. She's been a Bollywood superstar. So in my field, I really look up to her. And otherwise, I seek role models around me so that I get inspired. And it's very important to be inspired, then being jealous, or then being competitive, because the moment you're jealous or you're competing with somebody, you start seeing your own negative qualities. Do not see that. Get inspired and see how that person has achieved what they have achieved, so that you get an idea what is your way out to achieve. Be your own role model as well. That's the most important. You imagine yourself, how do you want to see yourself? Okay, then start backtracking. This is how I'll be this person. Nyrraa Banerji, I want to see Nyrraa like this. How will Nyrraa become like this? Let's deduce. So make yourself your own role model. That's my advice to all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
so